Hi, thank you for joining me for another online yoga class. Today we're going to be looking a little bit at the thoracic sort of mobility in our practice. So that's sort of this area of our spine. And we're going to be working through some yoga poses that open up the front of the body and strengthen the back of the body, because this tends to be the pattern that most of us have in our bodies. We're really tight in the pecs, and a little bit weaker in the back. If we sit down a lot in the day or do a lot of typing or driving, that's the sort of pattern that we spend a lot of our time in. So we'll just be undoing some of that today. But it's going to be about a 45-minute flow, so we are going to work through the whole body as well, so all of our body will get a nice stretch and strengthen with that. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position. So just take a moment. Remember, if crossed legs isn't comfortable to you, that's fine. You can sit with the legs out in front or to the side. And from there, we're just going to take a moment just to bring our awareness into our body. So just maybe close the eyes. Just become aware of where you sit in space. Maybe you become aware of the sitting bones pressing against the earth. Become aware of your hands, maybe they're on your legs. Maybe bringing some awareness to your shoulders. Maybe you hold a lot of tension there, and maybe you just need to roll the shoulders down the back. And then reaching up through the back of the head as you create a nice tall spine. And now that we've grounded the awareness into our body, we'll just bring that awareness onto the breath. So just start to breathe nice and deeply through the nose if it's available to you. So just finding a nice slow, steady inhale and slow, steady exhale. A few more rounds at your own pace. Slow, steady inhale, slow, steady exhale. Keep it going, really using that full capacity of your lungs, breathing nice and deep into the belly with every inhale. And maybe with every exhale, you feel a slight contraction in the abdomen area. So just keep that going, a few more rounds. Really finding that breath that we'll find through our practice. And if you want to blink the eyes open, you can. And just release the left hand down alongside you. Good. And then from there, we're going to bring the right ear towards the right shoulder. So remember, the ear comes towards the shoulder doesn't come towards the ear. So just taking a moment there. If it's comfortable, maybe you start walking those fingertips away on the left side. Just getting that nice stretch. Staying there for a few breaths, really finding that slow, steady inhale, slow, steady exhale. On your next inhalation, just walk the fingertips back and find your neck in a neutral position. We're going to swap to the other side. So right fingertips come down. Left ear moves towards the left shoulder. Remember, the shoulder doesn't come to the ear. And then from there, just slowly walk the fingertips away. Good, breathing there. Hopefully feeling a nice stretch. And on your next inhalation, just walk the fingertips all the way back, finding yourself in a neutral position. Good, from there we're going to take a couple of twists, and then we're going to really move through some spinal mobility there. So place the left hand behind you, the right hand on the left knee. Good, bring that awareness to that navel, that belly button, and imagine scooping slightly in and up as you sit up with a nice tall spine, and then as you exhale, take that twist over towards the left. Good, really sitting up nice and tall so that you really spread that twist through the whole spine. So we're not just twisting at the lower back, we're lifting and twisting. Staying there for a few rounds of breath. Take a nice big inhalation, and as you exhale, come back to neutral, swapping for the other side. So right hand comes behind you, left hand on the right knee. Bring that awareness to that navel as you scoop towards the spine and up towards the ribs to get that nice tall spine, and then exhale, twist. Holding there for a few breaths, but keeping that breath nice and slow and steady. Take an inhalation, and as you exhale, come back to neutral. Good. From there, inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe you look up, and as you exhale, cactus those arms. Good. So when we're cactusing the arms, we're trying to keep the elbows in line with the shoulders, and we're trying to bring those elbows behind us. So we're really opening up that chest. And what is really common to start doing here is to start sticking the head forwards, because it just becomes a little bit easier, especially if we are tight in the chest. So if that's you, think about drawing, like imagine that you're pressing the back of the head against a wall behind you, and that should just bring you back into alignment. Good, perfect. Breathing there. Good, a couple of twists here. So inhale, neutral, exhale to the left. Inhale, neutral, exhale, right. If you're holding any tension in those shoulders, just think about relaxing them a little bit. Inhale, back to neutral. Exhale, interlace the hands as you bring them behind you, really rounding that spine, tucking that chin, staying there for a couple of breaths. So just pushing the hands away. Good. On your next inhalation, find your way back, cactus the arms. And on your next exhalation, round that spine, tuck that chin, press the arms forwards. Inhale, come back up, cactus those arms. Exhale, round that spine, tuck that chin. A few more times in your own pace. Inhale, cactus. Exhale, rounding. Last one, inhale, cactus. Exhale, rounding. Good. And on your next inhalation, just come back to neutral. Good. We're going to do one more little stretch there, hopefully just knocking off some of that rust in the shoulders, especially if you're practicing in the morning like I am. So bring the arms forwards. Right arm's going to come on top of the left. Good. And then from there, we're going to start bending the arms as we bring the back of the arms in towards each other. Yeah, eagle arms. From there, if you can't quite reach there, just cross the arms over and work towards that. Good. Wherever you are though, lift the elbows up. Good. Perfect. Breathing there. And if you want to take it a little bit deeper into a neck stretch, you can bring the arms to the left as the right ear goes towards the left shoulder. The right ear goes towards the right shoulder. Good, so just finding that neck stretch that we found at the start, but with a slightly different arm position. Back to neutral, release the arms. They come out in front of you, we're going to do the opposite side. So left arm's going to come on top this time, so just cross them over. And then in any capacity that you can, this can be really tough, just bring those backs of the arms, backs of the hands together, or interlace them if you can. Reach the elbows up in front of you. Good, perfect. Breathing there. This time we're going to bring the left ear towards the left shoulder and the arms gently across to the right. So you just might get a slightly different stretch here. Good. Inhale back to neutral. Releasing down. From there we're going to come straight down onto our bellies. So just find your way down. the way down, and we're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So in our Sphinx pose, make sure the elbows don't come out wide or too far in front of you or behind you. So the elbows are stacked below the shoulders and squeezing in towards each other. So we're nice and parallel. Good. From there, press the backs of the feet into the mat. Maybe your kneecaps lift slightly. That's great. Shows your legs are engaging. Bringing that awareness all the way up the body, bringing it to the belly button. Think about scooping that belly button in and up, and obviously relaxing it slightly so that you can still breathe comfortably. Press the arms into the mat to lift the chest. So pressing down to lift the chest, and then maybe gently pull those arms towards you as if you're sliding the elbows towards the hips as you press that chest forwards. And imagine once again that you're pressing the back of your head into a wall behind you to keep that nice length in the neck. Breathing there. Good, perfect. Keep that breath going. Good. From there, we're going to come all the way up into our Sphinx pose. So on your exhalation, roll down. And then on your inhale, start rolling up into your plank pose. Maybe you keep the knees down to start with and you breathe there, finding a nice straight line from the knees all the way out the crown of the head. Or maybe you can turn the toes, lift the knees, and find a full Sphinx pose. Good. In here, in this pose, we really want to have a good line of energy. So we're pressing out through the heels and we're reaching out through the crown of the head, and everything else is engaged. We should feel the glutes switching on. We should feel the navel scooping in and up and really pressing the ground away. Take a last inhalation and exhale, roll back down. Good. From there, we're going to come into a nice pec stretch. So remember those cactus arms. Bring the arms onto the mat. So the elbows are still in line with the shoulders. We are going to do the right hand first. So just step the right hand about a hand's distance further forward, but keeping the arm bent. Excellent. Bring the left hand in line with the chest. Good. And then from there, we're just going to roll onto the right side of our body. We can bend the knees. Try not to straighten the arm. What most people will instantly do here is straighten the arm to roll over. But if you do that, you'll be missing that lovely pec stretch. So keep that arm bent. You might find that you're up a little bit higher. And then wherever you are, just relax the crown of the head down. Good. And if you're really tight in the pecs, you might find that you're up quite high here. That's fine. Maybe your body needs this pose a little bit more. Good. Breathing there, staying for a few breaths. With that right hand, think about pressing that hand down into the mat and gently pulling towards you. So you've got that slight pulling motion there. Breathing. Last big breath, slow, steady inhale. And as you exhale, just release yourself out of the pose, coming back to lying on your belly with your cactus arms. So same again, left side. The left arm's going to stay bent throughout this, but step it a little bit further forwards. Right arm comes in line with the body. And then from there, we're just going to roll over onto that left side, keeping that arm a little bit bent. And with the left arm, we can think about pressing the fingertips in and drawing that shoulder blade down the back. So just pulling with the fingertips towards your body. And breathing there for a few breaths. Really nice pose, just to release any tension that you're holding in the front of your body. And last big breath. Slow, steady inhale. And slow, steady exhale. Just release yourself out of the pose. From there, bring the arms in line with the sort of middle of your torso. Press through the hands as you squeeze the elbows in towards you and create space between the shoulders and the ears. From there, slowly start lifting up with your inhale through cobra. And as you exhale, come all the way up into tabletop. So tabletop pose, we're stacking the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees. Good. And then from there, we're going to move through a couple of cat-cows. We're going to do this through our sun salutation today as well. So you will get a little bit familiar with this, but press the hands into the mat. Good. First of all, we're going to look at creating a nice tall spine, creating some abdominal engagement, so scooping that navel slightly in and up, but remembering never to overdo that, because you really want to still be able to breathe nice and deep in the belly, so letting that go with every inhalation. Good. From there, with every inhale, we're going to lift the tailbone towards the sky and lift the chest towards the wall in front of you. And with every exhale, we're going to tuck the chin, round the spine. Good. Keep it going. Inhale, drop the pelvis, open the chest, cow pose. Exhale, tuck the chin, round that spine, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Good. In your cat pose, turn your toes, so your toes are now ready to come up into a downward facing dog. Good. But first, we're going to move through a floating sort of child's pose. So from there, lift the knees and then send the weight back into the feet. So you're taking a floating child's pose. And then from there, as we inhale, we'll lift the hips towards the sky, coming into our first downward facing dog. So when you're down dog, spread your fingertips nice and wide. Press through the hands. Press through the feet. So everything that's in contact with the mat is really pressing away, and everything else is lifting. So think about those front hip bones lifting up and back. So we get a nice tall spine. Remember, it's okay to have your knees a little bit bent in your downward facing dog. We're really focusing on that length in the spine. So if you need to take bent knees, please do. And make sure you're not holding any tension in the head or neck, so you can just gently relax there. If you want to pedal out the feet, that's fine too. So just taking your practice as you need to. Any movements you want to take here in your down dog, feel free. Good. Last big breath, slow, steady inhale. And with your slow, steady exhale, start walking the feet towards the front of your mat. Good. From there, inhale, walk the hands up the legs, find a halfway lift. With your exhalation, allow yourself to fold back down over the legs, keeping a nice bend in the knees. Relaxing that head and neck. Good. Really focusing that energy right now on the feet, so really pressing down through the heels and the toes, making sure your inner arches of your feet aren't collapsing inwards. So just spreading that energy, really pressing down. So when I say root down, really find that energy through the feet. Good. So root down and then inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Maybe the arms come up towards the ceiling, and maybe you exhale, bring the hands through heart center. Good, so we're going to work our way through sun salutation with the cat pose that we did, and then we'll see how we get on from there. So inhale, reach up, rise tall. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge at the hips as you fold down to the mat. Inhale, look up, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down, step all the way back to your plank pose. Drop the knees if you need to. So plank, nice straight line from the heels out through the crown of the head. Glutes are engaged, core is engaged, space between the shoulders and the ears. Take an inhalation. Exhale, drop the knees, send the weight forwards, lower with control down to the mat. Good. From there, inhale, baby cobra. So press the arm, press the hands, squeeze the elbows. Exhale, lift up, find your cat pose. So tucking the chin, rounding the spine. Turn the toes. Inhale, find your floating child's pose. So send the hips all the way back behind you. And then from there, inhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. One more big breath. Exhale, look between the hands, walk the feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root down, press the feet. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale, hands come through, heart center. Good. From there, we're going to work through some low lunges. So inhale, reach up, rise tall. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge at the hips, take a fold. Inhale, look up, lengthen halfway. Exhale, hands come down, left foot is going to step all the way back, dropping that left knee. Right knee stays stacked over the ankle. Press down into the earth, inhale, rise all the way up into a low lunge. Breathing there. On your next exhalation, frame that front foot and step all the way back into a downward facing dog or a three-legged down dog. So you can step that right leg all the way back and up towards the ceiling. Perfect. Breathing there. Good. On your inhale, come forwards to a three-legged plank. So inhale, three-legged plank. Exhale, three-legged down dog. Good. Take an inhalation. And as you exhale, step that right leg in between the hands. Keeping that back knee lifted. Inhale, come all the way up into a high lunge. So take a bit of a bend in that back knee in a high lunge so that you can have the pelvis nice and stacked. Reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. We're going to move through some movements here. So take an inhalation. Exhale, cactus the arms. Take an inhale here. Exhale, round that spine, tuck that chin, pressing forwards. Inhale, cactus the arms, opening up that chest. Exhale, rounding that spine, tucking the chin. 2 more times. Inhale, cactus. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, cactus. Exhale, rounding. Staying there for a few breaths. So you might begin to notice now the legs starting to fire, the glutes really switching on. Last big breath. And as you exhale, see if you can step the left foot all the way back to the front of the mat. Same again, left side. Inhale, reach up, rise tall. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge at the hips, take a fold. Inhale, look up, lengthen halfway. Exhale, hands come down. This time the right foot's going to step all the way back. Drop that right knee. Left knee stays stacked above the ankle. Inhale, reach up, low lunge. Pressing the feet down, rising up through the arms. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, frame that front foot. Step back, either to down dog or three-legged down dog. So if you're doing three-legged, just send that left leg all the way up towards the sky. Good. Take an inhalation in your three-legged down dog. And as you exhale, move towards a three-legged plank. Inhale back towards a three-legged down dog. And then stepping that left foot all the way forwards, in between the hands, lifting all the way up into a high lunge on the left leg. Breathing there. Nice big inhale. Exhale, cactus those arms. Remember, when we're cactusing, the elbows are in line with the shoulders and we're moving those elbows behind us. Take as much of a bend as you need in the legs. Take an inhale here. Exhale, round the spine, press the arms forwards. Inhale, cactus. Exhale, round. Inhale, cactus. Exhale, round. Inhale, cactus. Exhale, round and press forward. Hold it here for a few breaths. Good, maybe starting to feel those glutes firing up. Last big breath. And then step to the front of the mat, just releasing those arms. Good. Same again, maybe with a little bit more of a challenge this time, so we'll see how we get on. Inhale, reach up, rise tall. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge at the hips, take a fold. Inhale, look up, lengthen halfway. Exhale, hands come down, step back, step the left leg back, Drop that left knee, inhale to a low lunge on the right side. Exhale, hands come down, frame that front foot, step the right foot back, downward facing dog. Good, take a breath in your downward facing dog. And as you exhale, drop the knees down to the mat. So we're now back towards our tabletop pose. From there, we're going to do the right side. So just drop down onto that right elbow. The right hand can come anywhere between facing forwards or facing out to the side. I like to take it somewhere between the two. Step that left leg all the way behind you and start turning onto that side. So you might find that the right leg goes off the mat behind you. Good. From there, press down through that right arm, lift up through that left arm towards the ceiling, taking a supported side plank. Good, so we're really pressing from that shoulder blade on the right side down to the mat. If that's comfortable, maybe we can slide the right leg to meet the left in a full side plank. Breathing there, staying in the supported version if we need to. Good, a lot of good work happening no matter what variation of the pose you're working on today. But in any plank pose, you should find some real solid feeling in your core and your glutes. So your glutes should be firing, the core should be switching on. Good, last big breath. Exhale, releasing down. Coming all the way back to your tabletop pose. Good, from there, turn the toes, hover the knees, send the weight back through a floating child's pose, and then lift the hips, downward facing dog. Good, remember in your down dog, press through the hands, lift the front of the hip bones up and back, relax the head and neck, and press through the feet. Good, from there, inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Bend that knee, open up that hip, coming into a fire hydrant variation, keeping equal weight distribution through the hands. Nice big breath. And then step that right leg in between the hands. Coming all the way up into a high lunge. Good, maybe this time in your high lunge, you think about pressing the hands together up towards the ceiling, and then maybe you can think about opening up that chest. Maybe the arms, if it feels good for the shoulders, maybe the arms can come together behind the ears as you open up through that chest. Good, then come back to neutral. Drop the left hand behind you and reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. So you're just taking a nice twist here. Nice open heart here. Good. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands come to heart center, prayer position. Good. Take a nice inhale here. And as you exhale, see if you can take the left elbow to the right knee, allowing that contact, and then pressing the elbow into the knee as you spin that chest open. If you can't quite get there, that's fine. Just think about turning that body to the left and holding and breathing there. So whichever variation you're in, we'll be there for a couple more breaths. And on your next exhalation, just release the hands down to the mat. Dropping that back knee. Take the left hand and step it about a hand's distance further forwards. Good. Now we're going to come into a side plank on the left side this time. So if that's too much for your wrists, Remember, I showed you the one on the forearm first so that you can modify your practice if you need to, especially if you're looking after the wrists. So from there, left hand comes down, place the left knee down and turn the knee out off the mat, and then step that right leg all the way behind you. Keep pressing through that hand, especially from that shoulder blade, so you're really pressing from the left shoulder blade through the hand. Reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. So you can stay here in your supported side plank, or same again, you can lift that left leg and slide it underneath that right foot as you come into the full side plank. Good. And remember, it is a plank pose. You should feel that engagement in the body. Glutes are firing. Scoop that navel in and up. Breathe nice and deep and keep pressing through that arm, the left arm. Inhale, exhale, releasing all the way down to tabletop. Good. From there, turn the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Good. Nice big inhale. Exhale, look towards the hands and walk the feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root down. Inhale, rise up. Good. Straight into the second side. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge at the hips, take a fold. Inhale, look up, lengthen halfway. Exhale, hands come down. This time the right foot's going to step all the way back. Drop that right knee. Inhale, lift up. Low lunge. Exhale, hands come down. Step that left foot back. Downward facing dog. Good. Take a nice inhale here. Exhale, drop the knees down. Tabletop pose. So we're going to do the forearm plank on the left side. So drop that left arm down, hand, I like to face it at about a 45-degree angle, but take what works for you. This time, left leg's going to turn slightly off the mat as the right leg extends down. Feel free to sort of adjust yourself to find a comfortable position there. Press from the shoulder blade, from the left shoulder blade, press the ground away from there. And then from there, reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. And if it's comfortable, you can slide the left leg underneath, taking a full side plank. Taking a nice few slow, steady breaths here. Remember that breath that we found at the start of our practice, where we were just sitting comfortably. See if you can find that breath in this more challenging pose. Keep pressing the ground away. And exhale, releasing all the way down, tabletop pose. Good. From there, turn the toes, send the weight back, floating child's pose, and then from there, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open up that hip, fire hydrant pose. Good, perfect. Breathing there. And as you exhale, step that left leg forwards, stepping it in between the hands and coming all the way up into your high lunge. Remember, you can take as much of a bend in that back knee, create space in that lumbar spine. So almost imagine that someone's coming along and just literally spreading the lower back apart. Reach the arms up towards the ceiling. If it's comfortable, you can think about moving those arms behind you as you open that chest and come into a nice back bend. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Take an inhale here. Remember the two options. So the right arm comes to the left leg. Press the arm and the leg together as you spin the chest open towards the ceiling. Or if you can't quite get there, just take that twist without the link between the arm and the leg. So whichever one you're taking, you should feel some work happening in those glutes. Keep lifting that chest. Inhale here. Exhale, releasing down. Right hand, you can drop that drop that right knee. Right hand's going to come a little bit further forwards. Really press energetically through that right hand as you step that left foot all the way back. Feel free to adjust the right leg as you feel necessary. From there, press the hand, press from the shoulder blade, reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. Stay here in your supported side plank, or if you're feeling a little bit more stable, you can think about sending the bottom leg underneath the left leg. Breathing there. Good. Perfect. Taking whatever variation your body wants today. So just a couple more rounds of breath. And remember, if this one's too much on the wrist, we did the forearm one first so that you know how to modify. Good. Exhale, releasing down. Find your tabletop. Lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step the left leg forwards. Looking up and then stepping to the front of the mat. Good. From there, ground down through that right leg and draw the left knee up. Right hand, left knee, left arm reaches behind you as you come into a standing twist. So remember, if you're still working on your balance, you might find that you keep the toes on the floor and you practice lifting, or you might want to come to a wall. Good, breathing there. Last big breath. Inhale. And as you exhale, start stepping that left leg all the way behind you. Take as many steps as you need till you find your way towards a warrior two stance. So the legs are quite wide. The back foot's facing the long edge of your mat. Front foot and front knee are facing the short edge of your mat. Make sure your knee's not collapsing inwards. Think about picking up that inner arch and stacking that knee. Relaxing the shoulders as you reach forwards and backwards. Keeping a nice bend in that front leg as you keep the core lifting. So I like to think here, everything below the hips is sinking and everything above the hips is lifting. Breathing there. Turn that front palm, reverse that warrior. Good. Perfect. Coming into that reverse warrior. The left arm is sliding back down that left leg. Inhale, come all the way back up. Warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Turn both toes to face the long edge of your mat. Inhale, bring the arms out wide. Exhale, take a fold down to the mat. Good. When you get there, if your hands can't quite reach, feel free to reach for a block or any piece of furniture or prop you might have at home. And wherever you are, just find some relaxation. If you really can't touch the floor, you can always think about finding some support from your legs. Just relax the head and neck. Keep some energy going through the feet, so you're really pressing the ground away and lifting those hip bones. Good, breathing there. From there, bring the right arm to the left, just above the left ankle. And inhale, lift up. Good, so just finding that nice twist there. Finding that slow, steady breath that we found at the start of our practice. Good, inhale, exhale, release. Take the left arm to the right shin, right arm to the right hip, and then inhale, lift that chest. Breathing there. Thinking about really lifting that chest without sinking into the hips. So trying to keep those hips level to the best of your ability. Breathe. breathing there. Exhale, releasing down. Walk the hands towards the front of the mat and start walking that right foot all the way to the edge of the mat. Good, so we're facing the front of our mat again. The hands are down in front of us and the right leg is out to the side. So we now find ourselves in a lizard lunge. Perfect. Yeah. Good. So from our lizard lunge, we're just going to take a few moments to breathe there. So feel free to take any movements if you want to sort of take any circles or slide forwards and backwards there just to create a bit of space. You can. Good. And then if you can bend that left knee, drawing the heel in towards the glutes. Maybe you can press through that left hand and reach behind you to find that foot. Maybe you don't find the foot and maybe you just bring the hand to the hip. And just think about opening that chest. If you found that foot, think about pressing the foot into the hand. So the foot presses into the hand. So gently pull that hand away and hopefully you feel a nice pec stretch there like we found at the start, but in a slightly more challenging yoga pose. So just breathing there. And then exhale, releasing out of the pose. Good. From there, lift the hips, step back, downward facing dog. And slowly walk the feet to the front of the mat. Taking a forward fold. Just maybe staying there for a few breaths. If you want to take a ragdoll pose where you grab onto the elbows, maybe you gently rock from side to side. Maybe you release the hands and this time roll up to standing really slowly. Coming all the way up. Good, this time left leg grounds down into the mat. Right leg lifts. Left hand on right knee. Right arm reaches behind you as you come into a standing twist. If you're still working on the balance, think about dropping that foot down and just practice lifting up through that leg. Remember, if you want to come to a wall or anything, especially if you're at home, you can always move around. So just take that moment to find your balance. Inhale. And as you exhale, release out of the pose. Start stepping that right foot all the way behind you. So we're taking a nice wide stance now. Left foot and left knee stay pointing towards the short edge of your mat. Right foot stays pointing towards the long edge of your mat. Reach the shoulders out forwards and backwards as far as you can through the fingertips. Relax the shoulders. Think about sinking down through the legs and lifting up through the body. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, reverse that warrior. So right arm goes down the right leg, left arm reaches up and over, palm faces down. Breathing there. Good. Inhale, coming back to your warrior two. Straightening both legs. Turn both toes to face the long edge of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms out. Exhale, take a fold down. So just coming towards a wide-legged fold. Relaxing the head and neck. And breathing there. Good. From there, place the right hand in front of your eyes. Good. So the right hand's just directly underneath your eyes, and the left hand's going to come onto the left hip. And as we inhale, we're going to spin that chest open towards the side of the room and maybe extend that left hand up towards the ceiling. But if it feels more comfortable, do stay with the hand on the hip. Good. Breathing there. So similar to where we were a moment ago, but just slightly different as the center of balance is over the middle of our body. Inhale. Exhale, releasing down. Left hand's going to replace the right hand. Right hand's going to go onto the hip. Try and keep those hips level as you inhale, open up into the chest. Good, so the chest is sort of starting to point towards the side of the wall. Exhale, releasing down. Walk the hands to the front of your mat and walk the left foot off towards the side of the mat. So we're back in that lizard lunge where the left foot and the two hands are in line. If you need to step the right leg back or anything to find the pose, that's fine. And from there, just take any movements that might feel good. Maybe you gently rock from side to side. Maybe you slide a little bit forwards and backwards. Just take a few moments, really settle into the lizard lunge. Good. Maybe from there, think about squeezing that right knee in towards you. You can come on the outer edge of the left foot, reach that foot, left hand behind you. If you can reach, press the foot into the hand. If you're not quite there yet, you can just energetically think about reaching behind you as you spin that chest open. Good, perfect. Breathing there. Exhale, releasing down out of the pose. Step back, our final downward facing dog. So just take a couple of breaths here. Exhale, look between the hands and walk the feet all the way to the front of the mat and come down to a seated position. Good. From there, we're going to do one boat pose. So sit up nice and tall, reach the arms forward. Good. Try and find a nice tall spine so we're not rounding and slouching here. That will just make some of the muscles work a little bit less effectively. So sit up nice and tall, and then if it's comfortable, maybe you can lift one leg. Maybe you stay there for a few breaths. Maybe you can lift both legs. If you've got one leg lifted, swap to the other side. So just drop that leg, lift the other one, and we'll do a couple more breaths. Exhale, releasing down. And from there, just allow yourself to roll all the way down to the mat. Bring the arms out wide. And then from there, we'll just send the hips slightly over to the left side as we drop the knees to the right and look to the left. So we're just coming into a gentle twist. Maybe you start to close the eyes. Good. Come back up through neutral. Maybe this time you take the hips over to the right and drop the legs to the left as you look to the right. And just staying there for a few breaths. Good. Inhale, come back to neutral. Maybe you bring the knees in towards your chest and give yourself a nice big cuddle as you rock from side to side. Good. From there, we're going to come down into our Savasana, our final relaxation pose. So just extend the legs out long
Allow the feet to roll out to the side. Allow the palms to face the ceiling. Maybe you tuck the shoulder blades in a little bit to find some ease there. Close the eyes. And remember, in our Savasana, we're just relaxing as much as we can. We're just saving all of that energy that we created in our practice. So if any thoughts come up in your Savasana, you can just allow them to leave as easily as they floated on in. And any sounds that come into the room, all they do is they just help you enter a more relaxed state. Gently bring that awareness back into the body. Maybe wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Maybe you give yourself a nice big stretch all the way from the tips of the fingers to the tips of the toes. Good. From there, if it's comfortable, maybe you roll over onto the right side, keeping the eyes closed, and press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Good. So from your seated position, just bring the hands to heart center. And to arrive softly back in the room, we'll rub the hands together, creating some lovely warmth between the hands, placing it over the eyes, gently blinking the eyes open, arriving softly back in the room. Thank you all for joining me today. Hopefully you enjoyed that class. As always, if you've got any feedback, do get in touch by Facebook, YouTube, or send me an email. I'll put all the details in the information below. Thank you.